Welcome to this press conference on Sanaa, which is a film featuring in the Indian panorama and also it's part of the international competition. So, before we go ahead, a brief information. This press conference is also being telecast live on all the social media channels of PIB. So, this film, Sanaa, premiered in the Melbourne Film Festival and appreciated specially for its cinematography. So, we have on the dais Mr. Sudhanshu Saria, who is a national award winning filmmaker. He made his feature film debut with the queer road trip romance titled Love, and Knock Knock Knock, he got a national award also. Then we have Miss Pooja Bhatt, who all know she's a prominent figure of the Indian film industry. She is an actress, director, and producer. And I won't, because since we all know about her,
A two-time national award.
and of course, two-time national award-winning producer also. Then we have Radhika Madan. She's a talented young Indian actress known for her several path-breaking roles like Pataka and Angrezi Medium. She started her career in the television industry and moved on, transitioned to the big screen, and is especially praised for her versatility and natural acting skills. Then we have Nikhil Khurana, a versatile Indian actor recognized for his contributions to the entertainment industry, particularly television, and this is his first film. So before we go ahead with the question answer session, first we'll begin with the opening remarks, starting with the director, Sudhanshu.
Hi, everyone. Can you hear me? Okay, brilliant. Thank you so much for having us. Thank you for being patient with us. So we've had a big night last night. It was the first time the film has ever screened in India. We've been traveling the world with it, starting in Tallinn, Estonia at the Black Nights Film Festival 1 year ago. And since then have premiered and screened the film in almost every country around the world and been lauded for it and won so many prizes and showcased this amazing team. But the screening that I was most nervous for was the one in our country, where our audiences, we would be screening it for them for the first time. And we all got the dream we had been wishing for in this phenomenal IFFI audience. That room was charged with love and passion, and it was so thought provoking. And we're still buzzing from all that energy. So we're very grateful to IFFI for giving us this platform, for selecting us in the panorama section, for nominating us in the international competition. It's a matter of tremendous honor and privilege, and really, really reflective of how inclusive IFFI is and how it champions all kinds of voices and all kinds of stories.
Absolutely.
It means the world to us.
Yes, I agree. Well, I agree with Talas, with all of what he said, and I think that I would like to repeat that. Thank you, IFFI. I think that when there is so much talk about creative voices being curtailed in our country, and then when we're here at IFFI with a movie like Sanaa, which unflinchingly looks at life, makes you walk in the shoes of Sanaa, played brilliantly by this young lady Radhika, I think that it says a lot more. So I think eventually we are what we do, not what we say we will do, and we are what we make. So I don't know how many of you have not seen Sanaa. I won't say how many of you have seen Sanaa, but I think that the proof, as they say, is in the pudding. And when you see this labor of love that is, been put out there, I think the film speaks and is reflective of what we all stand for as individuals and as a whole. So I think let's not make this into a monologue. Once they finish their remarks, let's throw it open and let's have a dialogue.
I think it was the most wholesome experience of my life. I completely changed as a person and as an actor, and it's because of this creature sitting right beside me. I was, I think we chased being uncomfortable every single day because we knew that on the other side of it is growth, and that is what we did. Be it in our thought process or in a scene, we always thought that, oh, are you feeling comfortable? The only question that my director used to ask me was, are you feeling comfortable? Does it feel safe? And I was so scared to say yes to that because I knew that he would make sure or do everything in his power to push me on the other side. And I can't thank him enough for that, because I healed a lot of things within me uh, while I was discovering Sana, and it also had an impact on my personal life as well. Like the relationships that I shared with my loved ones, I could understand them better because I could understand Sana, and it's been the best experience of my life.
Yeah, Nikhil, it was your first film.
Yes.
So please tell us about it.
Well, I think it was a wonderful experience for me. I think I couldn't have asked for anything else. Sana was a great, great film to be a part of, and to be working with Sudhanshu is a privilege in itself. So I was very happy that I'm working with someone who's so much into work and is about work, because I'm all about work, and I always want to work with people who are all about work. And same is with Radhika. And I was just telling her yesterday as well that, there are two kinds of actors. There's the one who's always obsessing about, like they're always about themselves. And Radhika is all about, the work. And it feels really nice to be associated and to be working with such people. And my personal experience was wonderful. I learned a lot. I think Sudhanshu like inspired me a lot, and I'm gonna keep a lot of things that I took from this film, and it's gonna be a permanent part of my process. So it was a great experience for me.
Now I invite the questions. Mike, please.
Hello to everybody, to the team. To add on to Sudhanshu's what you started journey, if I'm right, before Tallinn, it started from Toronto, if I'm right.
Talent.
Tallinn only. Toronto, it was not screen. Okay, apologies for that one. Yesterday we catch up the film. It was very nice. The beautiful ending scene. What I liked is both mother and daughter, they don't cry each other because they are independently with the swag. They will have a cup of tea or whatever, which was earlier missed out. That was the beautiful ending where it shows that they are confident each other to face whatever the situations. That was the beautiful ending. And coming back, one small question what I have is, and congrats for Radhika, you have already bagged Best Actress Award in UK
Thank you.
Asian
Thank you
Festival
so
for this same
Thank you.
movie. Congrats for that one.
Thank
And
you
we
so
hope more awards
Yes.
now on Indian soil
100%.
for everybody. That's my congrats. And from both director point of view and you as actors, I want to just know the initial, what was in your both mind of that relation with her senior colleague. What is professional and whatever the her Berlin journey, it's gets backstabbed, or it's due to professional jealousy in the corporate world, or what it was more from your point of view. I want to just understand. Thank you.
Absolutely. I think I was writing this film in the wake of the Me Too movement, and as always tends to happen when stories first start to come out, there is a simplification that happens. Good guy, bad guy, good relationship, bad relationship. You know, we all know there are some cases which are very clear about who took advantage of who and so on. I wanted to go into a more amorphous zone where it was a very it was a very it was not a healthy relationship for sure, and both parties were confused. There was a power imbalance for sure. It is a workplace relationship, and each is in their own way in the relationship broken. And Soham Shah, who plays that character, who's not with us, I miss him deeply, delivered such a nuanced take on a man who comes from sort of not a major metropolis but finds himself in this position of power, and what does he do when he finds himself in that situation with a girl like Sanaa, played by Radhika. And the way we were able to sort of delve into those matters of jealousy and class and desire, those things were for me far more uh, potent. And within that backdrop of desire, of wanting to be selfish in a relationship, wanting to hold the other person back, from from the two perspectives in that relationship, for me was a much more interesting story of a workplace romance. Um, I think it's the kind of, like I always tell, like when my friends are in a relationship like that or a situation like that, it's very easy for me to say that's unhealthy, it's wrong, or it's a red flag, or get out of it, or that's not right. But when it's actually happening to you, it gets very confusing and clouded, and you can't always understand why you're doing what you're doing. So I think it was a mixture of 3 or 4 things that were going on. It was about people being selfish. It was about inappropriate relationship at work. It was about not having a healthy understanding of self. And I think so, when you have actors like Soham Shah and Radhika Madan, the stupid thing to do would be to design something two-dimensional, which is easy to play. They would be bored. I would be bored. Their audience would be bored. This was far more interesting to make. At least for me, it was way more enjoyable behind the monitor to watch them dance.
Yeah. So as an actor, we discussed all of those things, and I think adding to that, I feel that there was also a father wound that was there in Sana's life, which was playing at a subconscious level. Why she was attracted to the man of that age, and there was also power play that was involved. And like sometimes, when you want to feel powerful, you would want to own the most powerful person, and I think that desire of owning was manipulating, and it was manipulated from Sana's end. She's not a very white character. She's a great character. She knows what she's doing, why she's doing it. So I think it made her feel powerful when she owned the most powerful man in the office. Later on, to realize that she was actually nothing, like that she was played by that man, and that really hit her ego. So there were a lot of layers that were there in the character, which I really really loved, and yeah, and I think we can have endless conversation about their relationship. Yeah.
And to add on the compliment, what I liked throughout the picture is her character, where it shows initially only, I am not a rich spoiled brat. We can see that totally wherever she wanted to tender apology, where her mistake, she tender apology to everybody, including last scene, where for that clinic attendant, she will tender apology, for my sake you have to come early and what. That is, I liked whatever throughout the picture it's shown.
have the
Yeah,
next
thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so
Thank you.
Thanks so much.
You may ask.
Oh yeah, I watched the movie. Congratulations, team.
Thank you, ma'am.
And right from the beginning, I was stuck to my seat, and somewhere I felt that it is little dragging, which was unnecessary. But again, after going home, I was thinking the change of pattern of life of a girl, and obviously today's world, the way we are changing in the digital world. It was wonderful, a unique character what you have shown. But my question to uh, the main character, Radhika. Yeah, I just want to know from you, like, what was your idol to play that role in that movie? Because I thought it is like a unique way of behavior. And sometimes in some houses, I can see these types of behaviors. Why not? I could see my daughter in you. So, just wanted to know from you, like, it was neither Indian style nor Western style. It was somewhere in between. And your character was also well, especially during attending that party time.
Yes, ma'am.
That uniqueness I felt, and I felt very proud that we can behave like this. I just want to know from you.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you for the question, ma'am. Um, Idol, I'm not sure if I had any, but we have had a lot of people in our lives, in both our lives, Sudhanshu's and I, that I think were very close acquaintances who were like Sana, and I actually healed my relationship with that person through this film, because I could never understand that person. I felt that they were wrong. They were entitled. But the more I started to understand Sana, the more I started to understand them. And I started to find commonalities between them and I. And then I realized that we are what we see in people. So if something is bothering us about a person, I think we need to look inside and see how we're mirroring that behavior. And eventually that's how I healed my life. um, and I know it is so relatable. Sana is a well-educated, well-traveled, independent woman. Um, so she knows what to wear, how to stand out. For that, I think kudos to Sudhanshu for taking so much of effort in her wardrobe. I remember even her shoes were made because he couldn't find the right shoes. It shouldn't be Indian. It shouldn't be Western. It should just be the right fit. And that is what you've been mentioning. Like you don't know where she is, but she stands out. And that club dress that you're talking about, that club dress was actually hand stitched because Sudhanshu again couldn't find the right material of making her stand out, and it was just beautiful. So you want to talk about that more?
Talk about,
About-
being a control freak.
Ma'am, I saw you
Thank you,
also
thank you so
somewhere in her, old movies. I could feel that Zamana was little, even in for movie 2 years also is a big difference.
For sure, ma'am.
Yeah.
For sure.
But I feel somewhere we see some character and we pick up that, and when we see you, then we see many people. Since Poojaji is sitting right in front of me, like
For sure.
especially
Who
Nana
could have asked for a
Patekar's
better
movie.
mother-daughter duo?
Yeah.
I feel like Bhagwan ne bana ke bheja hai custom.
She's my firstborn daughter. Oh my God. My firstborn son was Kunal Khemu and Zakham. So I think I've brought two wonderful children into the world in that sense.
So sweet.
She will always be my most special child. The firstborn has an advantage. That's a fact. Sorry. अभी भी है.
Well directed, sir. The movie.
you so much.
Yeah.
अभी नहीं है, वो तूफान
And
है वो.
the music what you have used, I really appreciate that. That showed that even that local feel also I could feel, especially the last part, the music and the even
No, thank you. I think
background music.
again a very important part of for me as a collaborator in making this was the work of Vishal Mishra. I think we know his voice from
Wonderful.
Natu, and you know him from Kabir Singh and so much other work Vishal has done. This wasn't really the kind of film that I thought he would respond to, but my co-producer on this film, Vineet Masram, took me to meet him. I narrated the story to him. He reacted to it from a very instinctive heart place. What I wanted was to make an album which had 5 different songs by 5 different composers. You know, the song in the boys' apartment, very reggae. The song in the club was almost like a, Berlin EDM track. There's almost like a classical raga-based composition for the
That's
end.
what, yeah.
There is that Itta Dukhta Hai, this very sort of... but Vishal surprised me. He kept delivering track after track, which all sounded like they were from 5 completely different universes, and yet had a central theme to it.
Beautiful.
And our writer, Anvita Dutt, whose work you know from Kala, you know her work from, so much. She's written...
Very artistically presented.
Yes.
and
I
she
could
wrote
feel
the
that
whole
classical
album.
bass in that
And
movie.
sung beautifully
Yeah,
by
That
apni
voice was
Shilpa
beautiful
Rao
voice.
and
I mean that bass and pahadi type of voice.
We have a
that
question
lady.
from the back, please. Yeah.
Pooja, it's lovely to see you here. I think for many people, I don't really want to use the word my generation because that's sometimes aging, and I don't mean that
please
at all.
do. Please use my generation. Let's say the word aging out loud and let's celebrate that, I think.
Yeah, and I think you are an embodiment of that celebration. You look lovely.
Thank you.
We've grown up with a fantastic body of work that you've given us. And I think it's always been quite apparent that that body of work was on your own terms. In a sense, thematically, when you even read the synopsis, and it says that Sanaa starts to evaluate whether the choices or the actions that she's taken in life have come out of her own choices. You are a great example of of having lived that with your own choices in many ways. What was it that that drew you to this role? Because many of your roles have been about that, whether it was from the ingenue in Dil Hai Ki Manta Nahi to Zakham, you know. There was a very clear evolution that people could see in you. And in this particular this particular role in film as well, what is it that really drew you to it? Because like Sudhanshu said, he used the word amorphous.
Yeah.
This is a subject that we think is limited to a certain socio-economic urbanized segment of the population,
Correct.
but it's only the treatment of that that is limited to it.
Right.
Correct.
The condition is across the country, across the world in many parts, across socioeconomic levels.
Absolutely.
The freedom or the empowerment to be able to treat it this way is maybe a little more urbanized, educated, whatever. At the same time, the shame with that is associated with it is that much higher. So then you kind of slip back into that category of people that don't want to deal with it. What drew you to this, and any thoughts about that?
Well, it began with a phone call from this, as Radhika called him, creature, who I happened to meet at a dinner for a very dear friend of mine, Ryan, who doesn't have the privilege of life anymore. And so God bless you, Ryan, and thank you for introducing me to Sudhanshu. And I think that he remembered me and he messaged me out of the blue and said that, I have a script that I would love you to read. I'm a voracious reader. And I said, sure, I'd love to read anything. He didn't mention what, why, nothing. I read it in one go. And I remember being at my farm outside Bombay where network was very limited and standing on this stairway somewhere, craning my neck, holding my hand, much like Sanaa was in the hospital looking for network, and saying that, this is an extraordinary story. It is a story of all of us. That's why I'm very moved when you have the heart to say, ma'am, that I see my daughter in Sanaa. It takes a lot to say that, so thank you. And I saw this as all of our stories. And I think that, to limit it to only women, I think that men feel the anguish and the loss of, a life that could come to fruition or not. And I just thought that it's so important to be part of journeys join hands with people and walk with people who have the audacity to be able to put themselves out there. We keep talking about change, but we don't welcome change.
That's true.
We limit change. We don't give it the kind of platform and the respect that it actually deserves. When somebody dares to do something out of the box, we frighten them initially and say, no, this would never work in the commercial framework. When we make it like he has with his funds, we are here and we are very grateful to IFFI for giving us such a dignified platform. And for all of you to be here in this manner, because this is not my first rodeo and I can smell indifference from a mile away, and I know this is not an indifferent room. But I think that for me, it was about synergizing, putting my commitment to what I believe in life into action, clasping hands with him and saying that I'm part of this. I'm part of this. I'm a comrade. I'm on this journey with you, and I'm going to see this through not only till the end, which means release, but forever. I stand by this film. I stand by every word spoken in this movie. I stand by the intent of the filmmaker. I stand by the consequences of this release. Even if nobody out there is brave enough to give it the platform it deserves, I stand by Sanaa, and I would never replace this in my life. And I'm glad it's going to be mentioned in my obituary when I go.
So that's my next question, because you just gave me the lead and you said nobody might give you the platform it deserves. So Dhanshu, it's a very multiplex film. Is it going to get a commercial release? I think it should,
Hell
because in the
yes.
urban
I'm
audience.
not worried. I know audiences are hungry. I think the system
Yeah.
is understanding that you can't fool people anymore.
Yeah.
They can smell a bad film, they can smell a project, they can smell a smart packaged product from a mile away, and they do not have the time for it. What
Yeah.
the people are looking for are stories where they can see risk, they can see fear, they can see courage, they can see, give us something. And we've got that. And there are people who want you to believe that good stories are, you know, dime a dozen found by the wayside, but I know that's not true. I know this film hasn't gotten made because we worked hard. We also did get lucky. All of us work hard. The intention was there. We poured our hearts and souls into it, and you know, you've seen the film. We've ended up with something fantastic. So I'm going to guard it and protect it, and together with everyone up here and so many more people, we're going to make sure it, you know, is put out and taken to the audience in the right way. We need help. We're going to need collaborators. We're going to need smart people who are leaders in their field to join hands with us. But all of it is going to be because Sanaa, this film, has a will of its own,
Yeah.
and it's going
Yeah.
to make its own way forward. I'm just the custodian, the enabler. That's it.
And also, I would like to add that when I read it, I called him and I said that, you know, I have to be part of this film. And I presume you want me to play Radha. So he said, absolutely, would you do it? I said, I would not allow anyone else to do this. And I think that, you know, this is a great example of that, you know, of the line that there are no small parts, there are only small actors.
That's true.
So, you know, I mean, you can make your presence felt with silence. You can make your presence felt with one shot in a film.
Yeah,
It all needs to add up. It's not about the length of your role. It's not about the minutes on screen.
absolutely.
And I think to be able to be on a set and to be able to play off a co-star like Radhika, and I'm saying this, and I'm not being kind when I say this, I shamelessly fed off her energy. You know, I mean, we actors are meant to be emotional vampires, at least on
Yeah,
set,
yeah.
not off set.
Yeah.
And I shamelessly drew from her. He created an atmosphere that was absolutely sacred. Everybody was in tune. When I walked out of my trailer and I walked up those two stories into that room, from the production manager who was waiting outside to the light boys, everybody was in sync, including
Makes a
the DOP
difference.
Dipti, who I could see was feeling everything that we were feeling. And you know, you sense that vibration and it kind of implores you to push and go more. And a lot of things were not planned in that scene. It just kind of flowed. And he had the confidence and the faith to be able to just let it be and say, you know what, I don't want to cut this. I just want it to play out. And I think that's his strength, to be able to be bare. You don't get the chance and opportunity to be bare. You know, if not, everybody is so caught up
Yeah.
with technique. And now that we have digital as a medium and not film, film was like gold. We were told that
Yes.
you get 3 takes, 4 takes, rehearse more. Now people are shooting the scene from 500 angles, overshooting like there's no tomorrow, and then the editor is going completely loony. But he was so precise and he was so mindful of where he was taking us emotionally. And I'm just so grateful for that space he created, because, you know, that's where we thrive. Like, you know, I think that different people bring different things out of us. I mean, you're only as good as your co-stars are. You're only as good as your director is. You're only as good as your role is. And I think that Radhika last night said something to me that is so magical, and I hope more people get cue from her. And she said, you know, I love it when people give me this love and praise, but the truth is, that was not me. It came from somewhere. It's the universe channeling, you know, me and putting it out there. So I think that if we all have that humility to say that we can't take credit, it happens. We are the medium.
Exactly. I was
And
going to
that's
use
it. You know,
that.
the words come. When you put that
Yeah.
pen to paper, the words come, the performance comes, the song comes, the tune comes. From where? That's the magic of this business.
Yeah. Thank
So,
you.
Thank you.
So
hi.
you were saying something.
Somebody else I heard.
Me.
Oh, right there.
Right,
Of
yeah.
course.
yes.
Hello.
Yes.
So, my question is to Radhika and Sudhanshu. First question is to Radhika. Basically, when you played this character from the initial stage, when you were casted, when you were being in the character, one thing I'm pretty sure is from now, once this gets a big release, you won't be called Radhika. You will be called Sanaa for sure.
love
I
that.
can promise that
Thank
after
you.
I see the movie. But what I want to ask you is, I'm sure you'll give me a refined reply now, because yesterday night's reply would be very different. But still, I would like to ask you, when you saw the full film yesterday, I think it was the first time she saw it, right?
No, I've seen it
Was
in
it the
every
sec-
festival. Yeah.
Okay, okay. Then like after the first
Yes.
time, like you saw the film, or probably yesterday when you gave hug to Pooja but ma'am, what was that feeling you had? Like basically playing that character, seeing yourself completely on screen, what was that momental thing which you had in your mind? I just want to know that.
Uh, honestly, like this was one film जिसका मैंने monitor भी नहीं देखा था. कुछ मुझे I had no clue. I was just relying on how it was making me feel. And I think I was overwhelmed by the end of the shoot. I remember on the last day I was feeling the same emotion that I felt last night, because my gut knew that something is right. I didn't need visuals to support that. I knew that something had shifted in my being. And that is the biggest validation that you can give to yourself.
Yeah.
And and the movie was just the cherry on the cake. Like I knew it in my gut. I don't know how to explain it to you. And that's why I started to believe in the process more than the result. In every film that I do, I just need to enjoy the process because Sanaa has spoilt me. And but last night, I was watching the film after a long time, and it was a very special screening because yes, we have been, all over the world, but we made the film for our audience, and yesterday was our test whether what we're feeling is coming across or not. And the response that we got was so overwhelming, and it was the first time that we were watching the film with the entire crew. That made it so special. Like, I was watching the film with Pooja ma'am sitting right next to me. I could feel her sighs or her breath. Like, we were resonating in like on the same vibration, and it was beautiful. It was gorgeous. When the whole theater is vibrating on the same energy, it is magical.
Yes.
And last night was that night. So it's gonna be forever etched in my mind, and I couldn't be more grateful for it.
मतलब हर एक एक्टर को अलग अलग कैरेक्टर बनाना, मतलब you want to play different character, that would be your life's goal. So do you think after yesterday you achieved it? Did you get that feeling?
So with every project, I've always asked this question to myself, that why did I become an actor?
Yeah.
The very simple answer is that I get bored. I get bored with one life. That's the reason I strive for different characters. And be it Pataka, be it Angrezi medium, be it Sanaa, or Kache Limbu for that matter. It's so funny that, when I did Pataka, people started offering me roles of a village girl. When I did Angrezi, I was just offered teenage parts, and I couldn't explain it to the people around me that I don't want to play it safe. I don't want to live the same life again. I've already lived it, and it was a tough call to take, sir. But I really want to do different things. I really don't want to be put in a box. It bores me. I feel suffocated, and yeah, that is what I feel I want to do from here on, and that is what I've done actually in my entire
That's
career.
lovely about you. I think
Nikhil,
Pooja ma'am should try that same.
Sushan, let's have other
Ma'am,
questions also.
I'll complete Sudhanshu sir's question which I had.
You
Sir,
have already had questions. Yeah, please, you can ask.
Hi Pooja ji. It's nice to see you on silver screen. You make us fall in love with you always, all time. Whenever you come on screen, you make us fall. But I just want to say that why don't we see that charisma all again, like every time? Why is that you're not acting? Why is that you're selective?
Why am I selective? Well, I am selective. I prefer the company of my cats to fools. For example, in life, I'm talking about life, not on set. And I want to be on set with people who I respect and admire and who I know I'm going to learn more from. Like they say, if you're the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room. So I want to be on a journey with people who are audacious, who push limits, who will push my limits, who will teach me more about myself, who will make me question my capacity, who will make me ask that, can I do this? And that doesn't come around too often. I think that, but I've done Bombay Begums, I had Chup last year, and I've had Sanaa, and I'm privileged because I think that all three of them have been very unique films and shows and projects in that sense. And I'm just reveling in that, So I think that you need more Sudhanshu Saryas and more R. Balkis and more Alankrita Srivastavas, I guess, to write parts where I can come in there and bring my girth and my mirth and shine, So,
Sure.
but I ain't going nowhere soon, I can assure you.
Great. At a young age, you played the mom in Zakham. That film has won the national award, and now here you are playing a mom again. So how do you look at your journey?
Well, I think that at that time when I played mother to, well, technically Ajay Devgan, who I didn't share a frame with, but Kunal was the one I had to, and people were like, you can't be a mother. And I'm like, but why? No, no, no. Then, people will bracket you. I said, you know what? I'm not playing the game with by your rules. And I think that the most wonderful role that somebody can play is of a mother, a woman especially. I mean, you don't have to biologically give birth to a child to mother and to understand what mothering is. So I think that from the woman in Zakham was different from Radha. And I think that for me, what struck me about the scene with the two of us is Radha comes in knowing that her child is in a situation, is overwhelmed, feels for her and says, I like that when I said that line, I came here to help. I didn't plan to break down. I just broke down in the shot. And he didn't cut it, he just kept it. But I think that when she tells her that, do not let the past have control over your present and you can be anything you want, and gives the daughter the feeling that I'm right there if you need me to, but respects her as an individual, respects her as a woman, and says that there's nothing wrong with this, but very clearly states through her body that this is your choice to make. And I think parents, that's what good parenting is that you provide a roadmap. You can't lead the way. You have to recognize your child as an individual, as a heartbeat of this unfathomed universe, and know that they are bigger and beyond you. I've had that privilege as a child with both my parents. And I think that to be able to play a part that is not, she's not a mother who gets clingy and gets paranoid and makes it about her beyond a point, even though Sanaa feels that she has made it about her. So both these women are kind of purging, but the silence in the last scene that I think that hit you is when the heart speaks, words are inconsequential, And I think that's what the end of Sanaa really is that eloquent silence between two women. And yes, one is given birth to the other, but that doesn't mean that she decides her fate. When a child comes in, like a film has its own destiny, a child that comes into the world has its own destiny. And you don't choose roles choose you. So Radha chose me. Yeah. And the last scene was amazing because we were sitting there, me and Radhika, feeling completely overwhelmed. And then we had a director who was dancing behind the camera and the sun was setting. And we had to get the shot and he was playing the music and he wouldn't call for cut. And we were like, cut to bolo, yaar. Yes.
Ma'am,
Cheers.
ma'am.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I'm Suresh Kumar from social media. My question to you is, from father, what has he influenced you in filmmaking, and any good advice he gave it to you so that you can part it to us? So we'll catch up with that.
Well, he just told me that, Pooja, sing your song and go. This world is littered with greats who nobody quite remembers anymore. So he says it doesn't add up. And the golden words he told me when my film Paap released, which was a disaster, but I'm glad he wrote me that letter because it helped me. He said when this film releases, like when Sanaa releases, for us it'll be the most monumental day, but for the world it'll just be another day and this will be another film. And there might be more people out there who want us to fail as opposed to succeed, but that's the nature of the beast. But I think that sing your song and go. Don't look back. It's not for posterity that one does this. One does this because, like I was telling you, we are the medium. We've been chosen to put ourselves out there. And we are emotional athletes, actors, yeah. You got to go out there and just give everything and just be bare in front of the camera and hope that the world receives it like you all have. So sing your song and go.
Hi, good morning here.
Good morning.
Sudhanshu, I want to first tell you that it will be a shame for the industry if Sanaa doesn't get a commercial release. You don't even have to struggle.
Thank you.
mean,
And
we-
can you please say that over and over again?
I will. No, I mean, as an industry, if we don't, kind of join hands together and put the right voice forward, this is the kind of cinema we crave. And if in the name of commercial films we are served crap,
Yeah.
we can't complain then. So we need to give the platform. So thank you for making the film. And Radhika, to you, I mean, I could just say with a lot of pride and confidence. Ma'am said that she saw her daughter in Sana. I think there is a Sana in each one of us.
Yes.
Everyone sitting in this crowd, gender doesn't matter.
Correct.
Every
Yes.
man, every woman,
Yes.
every girl, every boy in this room. I could just feel even yesterday, everyone was like, we just don't speak.
Yes.
We needed some voice, kind of to speak on our behalf, and you did that beautifully, I
Thank
must
you,
say.
ma'am. Thank you so
And
much.
Pooja, to you, my question is, it's been years we've been asking every actor in the industry, whether it's a Kajol or Sushmita, whoever, when they dare to play a mother on screen, when they cross a 35 or 40 age mark, are you ready to portray a mother? And I am tired of listening to that question or even asking that myself. But to you, one would want to say that thank you that you did this role, and you rightly said that you don't need to birth a child to be able to feel how a mother will portray. So, Hatke question from the film, is this the kind of mother you perhaps would be in real life if ever you chose that path? Or was this just a Sudhanshu script that you turned out to be Radha? You were not clinging. You were not. I mean, I think this is another kind of mother that we have now seen in Indian cinema. We've
Yeah.
been seeing mothers who are very clingy or very possessive or very scolding kinds or crying types, but we need these moms as well
Yeah.
who understand what their kids, what their daughters, their sons are going through.
Yeah.
And I think without saying too much in the film, you very beautifully portrayed how a mother should be. Is this, Pooja, the script, or is it you in real life as well?
I think a little of both. I think that obviously the truth is that it was all on paper. When he sent me that script, it was all on paper. Every nuance was written out. What was added, though, what he shamelessly stole from my life in that one day that we did a workshop with Rachit, who we must thank. Rachit also worked with me on Bombay Begums and came in and did a workshop with Sudhanshu and me and Radhika. And, he brings out, things from our heart that makes us go into our heart and unlock doors that we keep firmly shut, and then from that something emerges. But I think that when I told him about how I used to write my mother love letters when I was in kindergarten, she used to send me dabba from home, and I used to write in my very bad handwriting, which is still the same. I still write in capitals. I used to write I love you very, 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 and very much. And in fact, I found one of those notes that she'd preserved. So on Mother's Day, I'd posted that. People were saying Mother's Day and sending bouquets. And I said, here's this little letter that I'd written. So my father says, you're still as vehement. You were vehement then, you're vehement now. So that he shamelessly picked up and put in like all filmmakers, good filmmakers should do. But I think that I aspire to be that. I hope I could be that. Because I remember telling my father this one day. I said, that's not fair. And he said, really? I want to see how you will be with your child. And that made me sit back and think. And I'm like, no, my mom and dad have been extremely fair because they've never talked down to me. When I was 5, they spoke to me as an adult. They were aware that I understood what was happening. It's not the words that children respond to, it's the actions of their parents. So I think that I aspire to be that. I aspire to be somebody who can be there and yet know that right now I'm not needed. Right now I need to leave the room, and right now I need to let my child walk, go through this dark night, find her feet, however shaky that might be. That's extremely important.
Yes.
So I think that for me, my loved ones have given me the privilege of allowing me to fall and getting up on my own, because that's what strength is. Courage is not something you're born with. You have to kind of work at it. It's little choices you make on a daily basis when nobody is watching. That kind of eventually makes you into the person you are. So I aspire to be Radha. Somebody who could be there but yet not. But I would not do that to the chai ka dabba like he made me. That was very cruel.
No, but that's true.
Hello,
I mean, you know what relation we've seen for you and Bhat Sahab. I could just say, Radhika, you are blessed that yesterday while watching the film, I could see what Pooja and Bhatt Saab have shared. I mean, I've been closely watching their relationship for years now. I could sense that in the two of you's
Oh my
bonding.
God, that's beautiful. Thank you.
No, I mean, I felt that especially in the last shot when I kind of touched her face, which he told me that don't tell her you're going to say that line. He was a very crafty man. And I say that to her that, you know, I love you and very, very, very much. And no one can change that, not even you. And that's what love is. Love is not dependent on something coming back. And we're living in times where it's all about, you know, give me back. So my point is that if it's unconditional, if it's love, then it shouldn't matter what your response is. So a lot came from there.
No, and thank you very much for. I think there've always been all kinds of mothers among us, but it's a little bit sad, and I think I will allocate some of this to, you know, the most of these stories are told from the male perspective, and so the women, especially mothers, always get placed in that supporting role, and there is a certain sameness and mamta, nurture to it, almost as if there is no foibles, there's no, you know, all the, I mean, mums come in all stripes and sizes, and I'm so damn happy we've added another one to the canon, and it's brought to life collectively by the two of them. I really appreciate it. And there's a gentleman in the back. I'm so sorry, sir. We were trying to get through.
सर इतनी देर से चर्चा हो रही है लेकिन निखिल सर के बारे में कुछ कोई पूछ ही नहीं रहा है.
यार,
you.
थैंक
Please
यू. आप
पूछिए.
पूछिए.
मेरा क्वेश्चन निखिल से है
Thank you, sir.
how was the experience working with national award winning director?
बहुत ही अच्छा एक्सपीरियंस था, बहुत मज़ा आया, काफ़ी सीखने को मिला, क्योंकि जो मुझे सुधांशु के बारे में जो चीज़ मुझे बहुत अच्छी लगी वो ये कि ही गोज़ इनटू अ लॉट ऑफ डिटेलिंग. एंड मैं जो एज एन एक्टर आई एम अ थिंकर एंड आई थिंक अ लॉट. आई थिंक अबाउट व्हाट्स गोइंग ऑन बीनीथ, बिकॉज लाइक दे से दैट नेचर इज सटल. So to achieve that subtleness or to reach that point, you have to have those details. तो it was an amazing experience. और जो मैंने सीखा वो मैं अपने अगले projects में भी already लगा रहा हूँ. His process is a part of my process now, and I'm always going to keep it with me because it's something that benefited me and it's going to help me evolve as an actor.
From my perspective, you know, I'm very lucky that तुम्बाड़ जैसी फिल्में करने के बाद सोहम शाह ने yes बोला. Pooja ka career no one needs to be introduced to. She said yes. That Radhika said yes. Shikha said yes. In sab logon ne, they took the script and they made it, took it far, far beyond it could have gone. But I am very proud that I found Nikhil. He's my hukum ka ikka. And when people see this film, that is what I have given back to all my contemporary directors who are hunting for the next great talent. They won't know him. They might not come looking for him, but they will walk out with him. The number of messages I get from people, ये लड़का कौन है? इसका number दो मुझे. So I feel like I own him in a way that the other actors can own.
No, thank you.
Absolutely. And I was telling him last night, and I'm sure you all will echo that. I was telling him, I said, listen, don't hesitate to grab your space in the spotlight, because yesterday he was kind of, you know, meandering 2 steps behind everybody. And I said, this is your debut film and you've done a fine, fine job. You have a kind of a response that you evoke in people. Very charming. I wish you lived next door to me. And, and grab your space. You know, I mean, there are people who do nothing who are only grabbing the space. So here you are, you're behind. अरे आगे आ जाओ यार, ये मौके नहीं आते life में.
And I am taking that advice.
Good.
So I am going to do that.
So you are going next year.
Sure. I just need to make a lot of money.
Maybe I'm moving, you never know.
Like yesterday when Radhika spoke, she said there were a lot of spot improvisation when she was acting with Pooja. But this is a very generic question, but I want a genuine reply from you. See, when we are actors, artists, or directors, there is always a director which has a perspective in his mind to put on screen. But when senior actors come into the picture, there will be directional, changes and all those things. But how much has that actually affected your actual direction which was there in your mind?
No, actually, I think I'm very, very, very stubborn. I'm very specific about what I want. But I'm also very greedy. It's not for any other actor that I would allow deviation of any kind. every period, every comma, every semicolon in the script has been wrestled over for months. Anyone is welcome to come interrogate it. I'm very democratic that way. Anyone, from the person interning on my film to the light boys to the person driving the camera truck, anybody's allowed to ask me why is this there, and I'm happily to explain it and get into a discussion. But anyone, if they have a better idea, I will take it. So when you work your bum off and you manage to get a Pooja Bhatt in front of the camera, and you work your bum off and you manage to get Radhika Madan in front of the camera, you give them that scene. And I'm not a woman. I'm so painfully aware of it. Like, there are days I was like, if I were just a woman, I think I could do this better. I'm not. I can't be. And at a certain point, you have to be like, they've taken up the baton. They know how to run. Get out of the way. So it's not for anybody that I would do that. But you get the two of them and they're on fire and they've come there bearing their hearts and souls. And my cinematographer Deepthi is manning that thing, and my editor Paro is cutting that thing. And I've already won because I've empowered the right people in their jobs. And so on those days, at that time, when people are taking your work to a better place, the best direction you can give is to yourself. And it involves shutting up.
But I've said this yesterday and I want to kind of underline this again, is that I think that Sanaa proves and Sudhanshu proves that you do not have to be a woman to tell a woman's story. Yes. Empathy is not a female privilege. And I think that that's something that we need to get over. And I think that, this whole discussion about, how can so-and-so character play so-and-so role, and you have to be from that region to play this, or you have to be gay to play gay, or you have to be a woman to make a woman's movie. I think these are myths. And Sanaa is a great example of that. If somebody who can make you walk in her shoes, but yet be so respectful and step back and say, I don't know. I'm an observer to this, and I'm putting it from the way from what I see. I think that in itself is it's a big win. And again, must say that when you watch this movie, you realize that when we compare whether it's agency over our bodies and reproductive rights, I think that we're in a great place in India, and we must salute the government of India for that, and the people who work tirelessly to make it a safe haven where a woman can go and take the decision, claim agency over her body, decide for herself whether she wishes to terminate a pregnancy or bring a child into the world. I mean, when you look at America, for example, the holy grail of liberty, supposedly, there's what's happening there. So I think that we have much to be proud of, and we need to kind of celebrate that fact. So please, we need you guys to be allies. If you like the movie, you must talk about it, because we need a dialogue to go on about this. We know how difficult it is to keep people's attention and create a noise factor that sustains. Please do that. Please champion with us. Please be our allies. Please be our comrades and put the news out there. I'm shamelessly asking, and I think I've earned the right to.
So, with this, we come to the end of this session. Thank you all. Thank you, Pooja, Sudhanshu, Radhika, and Nikhil. And thank you to all the media persons.